was a pirate for a couple years, but nevertheless, I've always been obsessed with witches and witchcraft and everything, so I am recommending you a few. Obviously, if you are like me and you like this kind of thing, you've probably seen a majority of these because they're pretty classic witch ones that, you know, anyone who has had an obsession at one point with witchcraft or anything, I don't know, I feel like you've seen these, but I'm still doing this video because I'll take any excuse to talk about things that I enjoy, so I love to yap, as we probably know already. The first TV show that we're going to be talking about is Charmed, which, come on now, obviously. I'm talking about the original Charmed, the one from the 90s. I think it started late 90s. My mom loved this show growing up, and it was always on the TV, you know. Everyone in my family loved this show, so I say the original one because I'm pretty sure there's like I guess it's classified as a reboot, but it's kind of like a sequel, I believe, to this show. However, I have not seen that one, so I can't really say if it's good or bad, but yeah, it's kind of the same exact thing as this one, just not as good, I would assume. So, Charmed, let me read the summary to you guys. It originally aired October 7th, 1998. And before I read the summary, the first thing that I think of when I think of Charmed is the opening credits, because it's a cover of How Soon Is Now by the Smiths, but I can't remember the band that covers that song for the intro, but the original is by the Smiths, and it's so iconic. Like, I don't even know how to explain, but yes, if you are thinking about watching this show and you're like, maybe not, watch it just for the credits, okay? Just for the opening titles. So the summary is: a group of sisters discover that they are witches. Luckily for the world, they're of the good variety. Banding together in their ancestral home in San Francisco, they work together to fight evil, with each having a specific, special power. Although outwardly they are average women with jobs, relationships, and friends, they are also powerful witches. But when they work together, their powers are enhanced. As the Charmed Ones, their destiny is to protect innocence from evil. Piper, Prue, and Phoebe are the main three in the beginning. And then I won't say which because I'm not going to spoil, but one of the sisters ends up leaving the show, and it turns out that they have another sister. I'm sorry, I have to spoil that because I don't know how else to explain how she comes in the show, but then we have Paige, which is Rose McGowan. She comes into the show. I love Rose McGowan. She comes into the show, and she has a different ability than the other sister that left the show, I believe. So, but yeah, it's a great show. Obviously, it's from the late 90s to early 2000s, so like the special effects aren't gonna be all that, but I feel like the storyline and the characters make up for it. So it's like watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, sometimes you're like, okay, that looked fucking ridiculous, but it's still good. And actually, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is not on my list, but it's about to be, because technically that does have witchcraft in it, and it is a supernatural show, and I love that show. So we're gonna talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer next. So obviously, in the beginning, there's not really much focus on witchcraft, too much, besides a few of the villains being witches, but it's mostly other supernatural creatures that she is dealing with, obviously specifically vampires. But this show has 7 seasons, started in 1997, and it is one of my favorite shows ever, honestly. When I first watched the show, my aunt told me to watch it when I was in middle school. I think I was in 8th grade, because I had just finished watching Roswell, which was another show from the 90s that was like a sci-fi show, and I was obsessed with it. And so she was like, you should watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer because you'd probably like it. And I was like, bet. So I watched it, and she was right. I literally binge watched the entire thing and just like rewatched it throughout high school because I don't know, I just loved every single character. Well, not every single character, but I loved my main girl Buffy, and I loved Willow, and I just loved the show, right? So I was literally such a fucking nerd. I was like whittling vampire steaks in the backyard after watching this show. But yeah, so Buffy the Vampire Slayer, let me read you the summary for that one. So Sarah Michelle Gellar plays Buffy Summers. It's based on the film of the same title. I remember watching this film when I was really, really little. It's not that good. But anyway, Buffy is a slayer, one in a long line of young women chosen for a specific mission: to seek out and destroy vampires, demons, and other forces of darkness. Unlike her predecessors, Buffy establishes a group of supportive friends who aids her in her battles with evil, including Willow, Xander, and Cordelia. Her battles with evil are frequent since Sunnydale, where Buffy and her friends live, sits atop a gateway to the realm of the demons. Yeah, watch immediately. I can't believe that wasn't on my list because there is, I won't say who, but one of the main people in it becomes like a powerful ass witch. So okay, next on our list is Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now, you can watch, obviously, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. However, it's a totally different vibe. I feel like on my list, there's more, like, how do I explain? I can't speak. I feel like Sabrina the Teenage Witch is way more focused on teen drama and like lighthearted witchcraft, whereas a lot of the ones on my list are a little bit darker. So that's why I chose the darker version of that story, which is Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now, this show I feel like kind of fell off a little bit. Like the writing became kind of after, like, well, it started in season 3, and then the last season I just was like, girl, what the fuck is going on here? But the first season, impeccable for real. It just like, I don't know, like the feeling it gives me. Season 1 is so good to me, like it's perfect. The vibes are just immaculate. What the show should be is like season 1, and then it kind of like, it's like season 1 of Stranger Things, where it's like everything was, the vibe was perfect in season 1, and then like the other seasons are still good, but it's like something shifted there, you know. But anyway, so this one, the summary, this adaptation of Sabrina the Teenage Witch tale is a dark coming-of-age story that traffics in horror and the occult. In the reimagined origin story, Sabrina Spellman wrestles to reconcile her dual nature, half witch, half mortal, while standing against the evil forces that threaten her, her family, including aunts Hilda and Zelda, and the daylight world humans inhabit. Kiernan Shipka leads the cast in the titular role, which is Sabrina, and it's based off of a comic series of the same name. Yes, I love this show. It obviously still has teen drama and lightheartedness, but it does have darker elements and deals more with, like it says, the occult and like the forces of evil and dark darkness, like the devil and just like all the bad shit about or not about, but that's usually related to witchcraft. But yeah, so let's see. Next on our list, I actually just started rewatching this yesterday because I'm still so mad that this show only has one season because it is just like perfect. I was so obsessed with this show. I wanted to be the main character so bad. I was obsessed with her room, her show, like in the show, her room, her outfits at the time. Like it was 2012, so like now I'm like, okay, that's kind of ugly, but you know, at the time I was like fashion icon. But so the show is Secret Circle. This is one of the many canceled like CW shows. I'm pretty sure it was CW, but one of the many that deserved a second season from CW that didn't get it. So yeah, and like I said, I just started rewatching it yesterday, and let me tell you, it still hits. It still hits. So with this one, after her mother dies in a fire, Cassie Blake goes to live with her grandmother in Chance Harbor, Washington. As she adjusts to her new life, she is more than skeptical when her new friends explain to her that she is a powerful witch, and they have been waiting for her to return so they can complete the secret circle. When she finds a spell book hidden in her mother's childhood bedroom, she realizes what they told her is true, but there is more danger ahead for them than they realize. This show, I'm not gonna lie to you, the first season, because it only got the first season, kind of ends on a cliffhanger for obvious reasons because it got canceled. But still watch it, honestly. It just makes me feel good. I don't know. Next, we have an absolute classic, okay? Which is Merlin. This is more, like, the magic in this is different than a lot of the witchcraft shows because it's not really witchcraft, it's, I don't know what they call, I can't remember what they call it in the show. I don't know, but Merlin is a wizard, so if that helps you at all. So this one, the relationships in it are great. This one's lighthearted, comedic. It also obviously has a little bit of darker elements to it, but it is first and foremost a funny fantasy drama, and the main characters are really lovable. I love Merlin, love Arthur, love Gwen. Like, yeah, it's really easy to get obsessed with this show, I feel, and just get sucked in to watch all of it. So this action-packed fantasy drama revisits the saga of King Arthur and his wizard Merlin by focusing on the two characters when they were ambitious young men struggling to understand their destinies. In this telling, Prince Arthur is known to be the heir to the throne, and he is acquainted with all those who will one day form the legend of Camelot, including Lancelot, Guinevere, and Morgana. Merlin is also forced to deal with King Uther's Great Purge, which bans all use of magic. Do you hear those birds? What the hell? Okay, girl. Next is Discovery, or A Discovery of Witches, which is based off of a book. This show is now on Netflix, so I feel like everyone has Netflix at this point, so watch it on there. This one obviously has witches, but it also has other supernatural creatures in it, and the romance in this is cute, and it also has the guy from My Lady Jane, which, Pookie right there. Pookie right there. I'm so mad that show got canceled. I'm actually distraught, but we're not talking about that right now. Anyway, it's a fantasy series based on the similarly named novel. Written by Deborah Harkness, Teresa Palmer portrays Diana Bishop, a historian who Norse demons, witches, and forbidden love, forming an unlikely alliance. Geneticist and vampire Matthew Claremont, portrayed by Matthew Good, Pookie number 2, helps Diana to attempt to protect the book and solve the riddles within, while at the same time dodging threats from the magical creature world. This is a great show. There's 3 seasons out at the moment, and I believe they're working on, oh no, I lied. So it's complete at 3 seasons, and it was meant to be 3 seasons, so I haven't watched season 3 yet, so I guess there's no loose ties or anything, so 3 seasons, ready to binge watch for you. Next is Witches of East End. I feel like I remember this being cancelled as well after the 2nd season, so I think there might be a little bit of a cliffhanger, I'm not sure, but it is a great show, it really is. And actually the vibes that this show gives me, this originally came out in 2013, so I watched it a long time ago, or not a long time ago, but a while ago. But the next on the list after this one reminds me a lot of this show. It kind of gives the same vibes to me. I feel like once you know both storylines and watch it, you kind of get what I'm putting down. I feel like you'll get what I mean by that. But anyway, this one is on Hulu. The mysterious, I always want to say Beauchamp, but because that's how it's spelled, but the mysterious Beauchamp family lives in the secluded seaside town of East Haven. Free-spirited artist Joanna Beauchamp is the mother of wild child bartender Freya and shy librarian Ingrid, who are both gifted and cursed with the magical birthright of which they are unaware. Freya notices bizarre occurrences in her life when she inexplicably finds herself drawn to the troubled brother of her wealthy fiancé. But it isn't until Joanna's estranged sister appears with a warning that could change the family's fate that the matriarch must reveal to her daughters that they are immortal witches with untapped powers, a revelation that turns their small town life upside down. Witches of East End is inspired by the Melissa Dela Cruz novel of the same name. I feel like all of these are based off of books, to be honest. All the best ones are. That's that one, and then the one that I said reminded me of this show is, I just finished watching it literally a day ago, is Mayfair Witches, which is an Anne Rice novel, and I believe, from what I've heard, I haven't read the book, but from what I've heard, it is a pretty accurate depiction of the book. So this one is about Rowan Fielding, an intuitive young neurosurgeon who discovers that she is the unlikely heir to a family of witches. As she grapples with her newfound powers, she must contend with the sinister presence that has haunted her family for generations. That's probably the most simple summary I've ever heard. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really say anything else without spoiling kind of what's happening in the show, I guess. So that tracks. The main girl who plays Rowan is Alexandra Daddario. Beautiful gal. She plays the main person. Next, we have The Magicians, and I fucking love this show. It's also a book series. I haven't read the books though, but the show is so good, and apparently a lot of people actually don't like the main character, Quentin Coldwater, but personally I love him. I was not aware that people didn't like that character until recently, but anyway, I personally like him. He makes dumb decisions, sure, but what main character doesn't, you know? But this show is obviously not witchcraft. It's other types of magicians, you know? This is basically okay, hold on, let me read the summary first before I say what I'm about to say. So, Quentin Coldwater, a grad student at Breakbills College for magical how do you say that? For magical fascinated by the magical fantasy world since he was young. But as he has gotten older, Quentin and his 20-something friends have discovered that the magical world they read about as children is not only real, but it poses danger to humanity. While studying at the secret upstate New York school, the friends struggle to cope with the aftermath of a catastrophe that befalls the institution. It's based off of the fantasy series written by Lev Grossman, I don't know. But I feel like that's a lame summary, but the show is so good, you guys. It's pretty dark, and like anytime that there's like injuries or killing or anything in this show, like deaths, it is like a more graphic one. It's definitely, people see this as kind of the adult version of the adult American version of Harry Potter, because they're at a magical college where they're studying magic. And Quentin's kind of like your Harry Potter. He's like the chosen one or whatever. The Magicians is on Netflix also, so period. But this show is so good. It has everything. It has a lot of diversity as well without seeming forced. It's very natural. I hate when shows have diversity, but it's like the way that they write it is very like, hey, by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm a part of the LGBT community, or like, it's really like diversity instead of it just being natural feeling. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this has so much racial and sexuality diversity, and it feels natural and chill. A lot of our main characters are part of the LGBT community, but yeah, it is amazing. I love this show, and it also, I compared it to Harry Potter, but it also gives Chronicles of Narnia. And certain parts of the storyline are giving Chronicles of Narnia, for sure. But yeah, and there's a lot of mystery and relationship drama, and like, there's a lot going on, okay? It's good. Watch it. Yeah. Second to last is gonna be Salem. This one is super fun. I love a good historical witch moment. So this one, let's see where the summary is. Okay. As the wife of an ailing but very wealthy town selectman, Mary Sibley holds the distinction of being the most powerful sorceress in Salem, Massachusetts. Ruthless yet vulnerable and with many secrets to hide, Mary leans on her ageless accomplice, Tituba, to help advance her agenda. When Mary's long ago love interest, Salem native John Alden, returns from war duty to find the town paralyzed by fear of a witch hunt, her plans take an unexpected turn. Against a backdrop of townspeople pledging to rid Salem of evil by any means necessary, Mary and John are thrust into a world where horror, hysteria, and the supernatural reign. Mary must fend off adversaries old and new who are vying for her throne. What really fueled the infamous witch trials in the 17th century Massachusetts Salem? This is from 2014. The costumes in this bitch, I love. It's kind of giving, I mean, it's historically accurate to a point. I would say it's pretty historically accurate, especially from an outside point of view. Actually, it definitely has some liberties taken looking at it closer, but the vibes are there, and that's what's important. Okay, last show is actually not very witchy, I guess. It's just magical, which is a more lighthearted show, but it definitely has some drama for sure. But it's Once Upon a Time. I watched this show from the very beginning. In 2011, I literally watched the premiere. I literally watched the premiere. And there's a lot of layers to this story, okay? So this summary that I'm about to read to you is just like touching on the very first plot point in season 1, basically. Like, there's so much else that goes on in this show, for real, that this isn't even doing it justice. But so, Once Upon a Time tells the story of a new world, one in which fairy tale legends and modern life collide. Emma Swan is comfortable in her life as a bail bonds collector when Henry, the child she gave up a decade earlier, suddenly shows up at her doorstep. He is convinced that she is the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, who sent her away before the evil queen could cast a spell, freezing the fairy tale world in time and bringing them to present-day Storybrooke, Maine. After taking Henry home, Emma decides to stay in town to keep an eye on him, and she discovers he may not be wrong after all. Now that's like literally just season 1. This show has how many seasons? 7 seasons. And basically you end up seeing like every fairy tale character at some point, whether it be like in the background or like an actual main character, including newer fairy tale characters, like Elsa and like Rapunzel, and well, actually Rapunzel's not technically new, but you literally have like Elsa and Anna come in at some point. I remember when that happened. But they touch on like every fairy tale, I feel. But yeah, but they change it up a bit. They definitely mix some fairy tales into each other. Yeah, this is a really fun show. I like this one, and it's very nostalgic for me. Sorry about my mom yelling at the dog in the background. But it's very nostalgic. It's on Hulu. It's on Disney. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus and Hulu. So, yeah, if we're a more lighthearted magical watch, that's your girl right there. But anyways, that is it for this video. I could probably find more to recommend, but I don't want to make this 500 years long, so maybe a part 2 or something